At 11:47 that evening, the monitors went flat. 3 specialists had occupied that room: a cardiologist from Boston, a seasoned neurologist, and a critical care doctor with an unbroken record of never abandoning patients prematurely. All 3 departed. The family was informed. Paperwork commenced. The night nurse dimmed the lights. By midnight, the city's most powerful individual had been pronounced dead. By dawn, everything had shifted. Not due to the specialists, nor the machinery, nor the protocols followed. It was the act of a 3-year-old girl in a pink dress pressing her tiny hand against an unconscious man's face during the quiet hours, clutching her teddy bear against his chest, speaking to him in the hushed, certain manner that only very young children use when conversing with beings they believe can hear them. It was also her mother, who had cleaned that floor for 9 years, who by morning understood that the most significant action she'd ever taken within those walls involved more than mopping. Before proceeding, if you believe that the smallest and most unnoticed individuals often carry the greatest gifts, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to believe in something today. His name was Roman Hale. At 58, he had spent 30 years constructing a real estate empire spanning 4 continents. Financial publications had characterized him as visionary, relentless, and difficult in roughly equal measure, descriptions he never contested. He had a single daughter, Sarah, who alone challenged him without calculating repercussions. She had arrived at the hospital 11 days earlier after a cardiac episode her housekeeper recognized and responded to with such speed that paramedics later credited it with keeping him alive. She had completed a first aid course the previous year and never mentioned it, as such details seemed unworthy of discussion. The initial week appeared manageable. Then a secondary crisis emerged, prompting the 3 specialists to gather in the corridor and carefully explain its implications to Sarah. She listened without displaying emotion. She had learned from her father, among other lessons, that rooms read faces before words. She returned home at 2:00 a.m. after the night nurse, Mernetta, whose name adorned the whiteboard in careful block letters alongside Sarah and Alyssa, gently insisted rest was essential too, but Mernetta's name was actually Ada Wren. At 34, she had cleaned the 4th floor of that hospital for 9 years while pursuing nursing qualifications incrementally, balancing night shifts, single parenthood, and a budget demanding precision everywhere. Her daughter Lily was 3, inheriting her mother's dark eyes and possessing an entirely unique perspective on the world. Raised among adults engaged in serious endeavors, Lily had absorbed, without intent, a quality of presence that most adults spend lifetimes seeking. Ada brought Lily on night shifts when the family room was available. The 4th floor supervisor, Marguerite, who had worked there for 21 years, maintained a sharp understanding of what required official attention and what did not. A 3-year-old sleeping in a portable cot in the family room did not require formal attention, yet toddlers possessed their own relationship with remaining stationary. Sometime after 2:00 a.m., Ada returned to check and discovered the cot empty. The door stood ajar. She moved quickly down the corridor, covering distance learned through 9 years of nocturnal rounds, and found Lily 3 doors down. Roman Hale's room featured a latch stiff for a week and on the maintenance list but unaddressed. Lily pushed it open with total physical commitment, a child who identified a destination and faced no logistical barriers. She sat on the bed, climbed up as Lily climbed everything, pressed her teddy bear against his chest, and rested her small hand on his face with a gentleness that, in the dim room light, seemed intentional. She spoke to him, not loudly, in the quiet, continuous, unhurried way she addressed stuffed animals when believing no one listened. Ada could not discern Lily's words from the doorway, only the tone, completely unbothered, completely confident, as if addressing something she knew was present. Ada lingered in the doorway. She should have entered immediately. She remained anyway for nearly a minute, counting seconds before attempting to comprehend her hesitation. The closest approximation she could offer was this: something in that room felt as though it should not be interrupted, not by protocol, not by logic, merely by the peculiar quality of stillness, monitors, and low light. A 3-year-old with a teddy bear speaking to an unconscious man as if conversation were the most natural occurrence in the building. Then the monitor shifted, not dramatically, not as in movies, but subtly, a rhythm previously consistent beginning something slightly different, something that appeared, to Ada's 9 years of observing monitors without official authorization, like searching for something to sustain. She entered without removing Lily. She settled into the chair beside the bed, placed her hand over her daughter's palm resting on the man's face, and remained for 2 hours. We pause here, because the channel wants you to understand what had been quietly sustaining Ada long enough for her to be in that building that night. There was a daycare director named Dora who had accepted Ada's payments 2 weeks late for over a year without making her feel the delay, merely stating these things resolve themselves, and that she trusted Ada completely. There was a doctor named Dr. Ferris working day shifts on the 4th floor who had been leaving nursing textbooks from the library discard pile on Ada's cart for 3 years, each with a small note inside reading simply, "Thought this might be useful." There was a parking attendant named Otto who had witnessed Ada arrive soaked 4 mornings in a row during Lily's illness, because Ada refused to spend money on covered parking when covered parking meant choosing between Lily's antibiotics and other necessities. Otto handed her an access card, called it a spare, and had quietly renewed it every 6 months since. None of these individuals knew each other. None realized they comprised a chain. They were simply people who noticed someone and made small decisions. That chain positioned Ada on the 4th floor that particular night. Ada's presence there placed Lily in that room, and Lily in that room remained unexplained to this day. This is what the channel believes. Impossible events rarely arrive alone. They come carried by an extended, quiet line of ordinary people performing modest acts that accumulated into something no one anticipated and no one could have predicted. At 4:23 a.m., Roman Hale shifted his head. Ada activated the call button. Mernetta arrived within 40 seconds. She examined the monitors, then observed Lily asleep against the man's side with her teddy bear still pressed to his chest, and finally looked at Ada. She asked, "How long have you been in here?" Ada replied, "About 2 hours." Mernetta reviewed the monitors once more before stating she needed to summon the medical team and requested Ada escort Lily back to the family room. Ada lifted Lily carefully. The child made a soft sound, clutched the teddy bear tighter, and did not fully awaken. Ada carried her down the corridor and settled in the family room's quiet until the sounds of medical personnel moving through the floor indicated developments. Roman opened his eyes 4 days later. Gradually, as one surfaces from great depth. By week's end, he remained alert for hours at a time. His first coherent sentence spoken to Sarah beside his bed on a Tuesday afternoon was direct, as he always was. He declared, "I'm hungry." She laughed genuinely as she hadn't in 2 weeks. He inquired about the night of the 4th during recovery. Sarah recounted everything. She had spoken with Ada directly, finding her in the corridor and asking for minutes. Ada shared the straightforward account and apologized for not removing Lily immediately, acknowledging potential consequences. Sarah gazed at her briefly before asking what Lily had been doing when Ada discovered her. Ada explained she had placed her hand on his face, speaking to him. Sarah asked what she thought Lily meant to say. Ada responded, "I don't know. She talks to everything, her bears, the plants at home, pigeons outside. She believes everything can hear her." Sarah said softly, "Perhaps everything can." Roman requested to meet Lily. The encounter occurred Thursday morning. Lily entered wearing her pink dress, teddy bear in hand, surveyed monitors and tubes marking serious medical intervention, and remained entirely unperturbed. She climbed onto the bed with the same determined purpose as before, pressed the teddy bear against his chest, and examined his face. "You look better," she stated. Roman Hale, who hadn't wept in front of another person in 2 decades, glanced upward momentarily before replying, "I feel better." She patted his cheek twice with her small hand. Then she looked around the room and asked if juice was available. Juice existed. Roman inquired about Ada's needs, not performatively but sincerely, from someone intending to act on responses. Ada detailed the nursing qualification, 2 remaining exams, associated costs, time requirements, and childcare that vanished whenever she attempted studying past 10 at night. He asked the duration if barriers were eliminated. Ada estimated a year, maybe less. He made 4 calls that afternoon, not to simplify matters but to enable possibilities. Ada didn't desire ease. She sought feasibility, clearly articulating the distinction to him, which he grasped immediately, having constructed his empire by understanding the difference between removing obstacles and removing effort. His calls didn't generate new resources. They connected Ada to existing programs she qualified for but remained unaware of due to time constraints and lack of awareness. The childcare, study access, examination fees, all were already available through programs Ada had overlooked. Ada took her first remaining exam 4 months later. She passed. She completed the second 3 months afterward. Upon receiving her results, she stood in the corridor with her cart, phone lighting up. She paused, then proceeded to the family room and sat quietly for a while. Mernetta found her there. She viewed the phone, then Ada's expression, comprehending the moment. She sat beside her and after a pause said, "I knew you would." Ada replied, "You didn't know me when I started." Mernetta said, "I knew you by the second week. Roman told Sarah once, I don't know what she did in that room." Sarah answered, "Neither does she. She was just there." He said, "That's the whole thing, isn't it?" Sarah said, "That's the whole thing. Never underestimate the person pushing a cart down the corridor. Never underestimate her daughter. Never underestimate what 9 years of quiet persistence reveals from within, or what it enables when it arrives at the right moment in the right space. And never underestimate a 3-year-old who speaks to everything because she believes everything listens, because sometimes everything does." If this story resonated with you, please like the video, leave a comment, and share it with someone who needs it today. Subscribe to Kindness for additional narratives of courage, quiet dignity, and small human decisions proving more significant than anyone imagined. The most crucial occurrence in that hospital on the 4th occurred not in any report. It was a child's hand on a man's face, and a mother standing in the doorway choosing not to interrupt. Welcome to Kindness. We're delighted you're here.